In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing you 5 smooth rotoscope effects that you can use in your music videos in 2024. Now, I did do a previous video to this and it did get a lot of views, so I thought to myself, let me just do a part 2 for you guys with different variations, different styles, so that you can adapt it to your videos today. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you're enjoying the content that you're seeing so far, make sure that you smash that like button. But before we head into today's video, I want to shout out my preset packs. The link for it will be in my description, and I will be using some of them effects within this video. So like always, I've got all my videos within Premiere Pro, and I've got all my subjects highlighted on where I want to do the rotoscope effects. So we're just going to head to our first effect, which is going to be an echo rotoscope effect, which you guys might want to learn. So we're just going to double click on our layer and we're going to rotoscope this out. I'm not going to show you how to rotoscope. If you don't know, please just watch the video on my channel. I'll link it in this video. So once you have rotoscoped your subject, just go to composition and you can see that we have fully rotoscoped out our subject. But we're just going to go to feather and we're just going to increase this just a little bit, just to smoothen out the edges. You can do this in many other ways, but I'm just doing this really quickly for you guys to see the effect. Next thing, go back to your layer, and I'm just going to bring this back in frame for you guys, and we're going to go to freeze so that we can just freeze the rotoscope so that it's all in line with the movement on the video. So the next thing you want to do is you want to duplicate this layer and you want to duplicate it again. So just duplicate it twice, and you want to go to composition on the last layer right here, and you want to go to roto brush and click delete. Now once you've done that, you have replaced your background, and now you have your roto brush subject, which is right here. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is we're going to go to effects and presets, and we're going to type in echo, and we're just going to simply drag that onto our second layer. As soon as you drag that on, you're going to see this. So sometimes it brings the background of your previous video because it's right at the start of the clip. So we're just going to drag this just towards where we can't see it, and that is where we're going to start our echo effect. So you want to go into the effect controls on the echo, and you just want to go to this echo time and keep it at minus 0.033 and change the number of echoes to 7. And for the starting intensity, we're going to leave it at 1, but for the decay, we're going to do 0.7. okay, and then we're going to go to echo operator and we're going to change that to maximum. Now as you can see, we still got some of the background in, so we're just going to start it around here, which is going to give us a nice look for this video. And as you can see, when we watch this back, we've got a nice echo effect and it looks trippy, it looks sick, it goes with the movement. These effects really work when an artist is performing with a lot of energy, maybe moving around like how NLE is. This is going to work really well. I know some of you guys might just want to keep it like that, but for some extra touches, you could literally just go to deep glow, and if you don't have deep glow, use any other glow that you may have, and there's one in After Effects built in, but I'm going to use deep glow, and you can add that to your echo layer, and we can just increase the exposure. Actually, I'm going to move this dial to see where we are with the echo. So that is really sick. So we can see if we increase it, that's what it's going to do. So we're just going to actually keep it around, let's just say 0.50, and then we're going to add a flash, and I'm going to use one of my presets from my intensity pack, which is available in the link in the description. I'm just going to drag that onto our adjustment layer. Just going to re-add that onto there, and we're just going to drag it here. So something like that, just to clean it out, would be sick. And you can even do a different type of flash where you can add additive dissolve, and you can literally split this layer. This is the way I actually like to do this effect. You just split this layer, go to additive dissolve, drag it on, and you get a look like this. So if we just go by one more frame, let's say around here, so you get something like that. So it's just slightly added a flash onto this transition, and it looks really nice. That is the echo effect. Very simple, very clean, but it's very effective depending on what sort of clip that you are using. So for our second tutorial, we're going to head straight into this sort of big head effect. Now it sounds crazy, it sounds dumb, but it's basically where you can just make the artist who is performing make their head massive. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys how to do this. So we're going to double click onto the layer, and the reason why I chose this clip is because of the zoom, because when we zoom in, that's when we're going to make Anani's head massive. So we're just going to split the layer, Control Shift D, and we split the layer, and then we are going to rotoscope his head out. And once you rotoscoped out your layer, it should look something like this, but yours is going to look better because you're going to take time with it and you're going to make sure that it's a clean cutout. So we're just going to smoothen this up just a little bit, and then we are basically going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to click on the second layer and we're going to delete the roto brush. Okay, so as you can see, as soon as this clip zooms in, we're going to make his head big. All right, and we're going to keyframe the scale and potentially the positioning, because I'm not too sure with the way I want this to look yet. I'd say around here, maybe drag the scale in just a little bit and slowly move it in frame with where his head is positioned at. So I'd say something like this. Now guys, this is very rough because obviously I've cut between where his jacket is, and as you can see, this roto brush here is just moving a lot because of his jacket. So what we're going to do is we're not going to let it play on for too long. We're just going to do a keyframe here for the position and scale, and we're going to right click these two layers and we're going to reset them at that point. And I'd say around here, we're just going to make sure that he is in line so it doesn't look weird. Something like that. Now that's very smooth. I feel like that can work, but the way we're going to clean this up is we are going to add a little bit more feather just to smoothen that up. There we go, that's a lot more smoother. And then we are going to highlight these keyframes and click on graph, and we're going to make sure that our speed graph is on. Okay, so the first two, we're just going to slowly speed it up just like so, and it's going to give it a nice movement as well. And then for these two, bring them in, and then for these, bring these in as well. Kind of copy that same sort of look for most of the graphs like so, because the reason why we want that sort of look is because of the shake that we're going to add to this. Going to go to adjustment layer, and we are going to put a point on where his head starts to get big, which is here, all the way up until here. So we're going to stop that adjustment layer, we're going to go to effects, and we're going to go to our small shake effect that we have created, which again is in the link in the description. And there you go. So when we look at it now, his head's got bigger, but we've added a shake with it as well, and it kind of smoothens out the effect. If you really wanted to, you could just literally increase how big the head goes. Okay, and then when the shake happens on this side of things, it will look much more cleaner. So as you can see, we actually got that to work pretty nicely. And that is the final look of our big head rotoscope effect. Okay, cool. So we're going to head on to the third effect right here. So for this effect, we are going to create a turbulence display effect with a rotoscope, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So again, guys, rotoscope your subject out. So our subject is rotoscoped out. We're just going to clean it up just a little bit. We are going to freeze our subject. So we have pressed freeze and we have got our rotoscope right here. So when we go to composition, it's all here, it's playing. And it's actually cleaner than I thought, not as bad as it looked at first. All right, so once you got your rotoscope, like I said, we are just going to duplicate the layer 3 times. And then on the last layer, we're gonna click delete roto brush. Once we have got our layers, we're going to go to our second one, we're going to go to transform, we're going to keyframe position, and we're going to move this in a position wherever you like. You can actually keyframe scale as well, because I feel like this is going to look sick with the way we've got this. And you could just possibly move it, you know, towards the right for this one, and zoom it up just a little bit, and then slowly bring that in there. And then what we can do is we can go to effects and type in turbulence display, and just drag it onto our second layer. Make sure our motion blur is turned on for these as well. So as you can see, we've got a rotoscope on the right hand side, but we want to do position, scale, and move it in. So I've already made my keyframes, so I'm going to move them back here, and then we're going to do reset because we want it to come from here, like so, like that. And that is exactly how we want it. But with the look in terms of the turbulence display, we can actually keyframe that as well. Now I'm just going to move down this scale. I feel like that's much better. And then we can go to turbulence display and go around to amount. So you want to keyframe an amount. Now I just want to see what sort of look we can get when we increase the amount. So this is what we're getting when we increase it. I feel like that would be a good amount. And then for the sizing, I feel like if you want a funny look, this would be sick around here. But it all depends on the look that you're going for. So I'm just, you know, guessing. I'm not really actually looking for something. I'm just seeing what looks cool. And then we're going to add our keyframes here. So I'd say around when he comes out, I'd say right here, add these keyframes, but just go back and highlight these and reset. And when you're going to reset them, set them to 0 so that there's actually no turbulence going on around there. So then when he does come out, it slowly happens, if that makes sense. And we're going to highlight these keyframes, F9. Okay, and we're going to go back to our other keyframes, which are all right here. Okay, and we're going to F9 these as well. That's the sort of look we're getting with the turbulence display. And you can make this look a little bit more crazy if you want. I feel like with the sizing, maybe just decrease it a little bit so he goes big like that. I feel like that looks a bit more funnier and kind of goes with the vibe. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that still. All right. And then next we are going to duplicate the same layer that we've just done, so we can actually delete the 4th layer here. We can just go and change the positioning for each of these. So for him to go that way, we can just make him go to the left. Go to reset at the start, and then around here he comes in. It's like more so like a funny vibe that you're looking for. And there you go, there's a lot of turbulence display going on. But what we're gonna do is we are gonna go to evolution here on our keyframes for the 3rd layer. We're gonna do it for both as well. We're gonna click on the keyframe there, and then we're gonna add a last keyframe on where we want the evolution to stop. So I'd say around here is where we're gonna bring him back in, and we're gonna up this evolution so that it moves when he's moving as well. The 2 keyframes here, we're gonna F9 them so that we got a nice movement going. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing for our 2nd layer to make sure that evolution is matching, so that now this is the sort of look we're getting. It goes with it, nice movement with it. And then we will close it up around here. Just as he puts his arms up, we'll click reset, and we will also do it on the other layer. But because we still have our turbulence display showing as it goes back into frame, you want to do it from these keyframes, and you want to type in for the 1st layer, you want to type in T on the keyboard. You want to go to opacity, and just right here you want to bring it in, and you want to go to 0 so that it just kind of comes off screen and fades off, because we don't want that turbulence still showing. And we're going to do the exact same thing for our 3rd layer. It's sort of a funny look, but it kind of goes with the video, kind of goes with what he's doing. So for our 4th effect, we're just going to do a very simple circle effect where the artist is circling around himself. And there's many ways to do this, but I feel like I'm going to show you guys the most easiest way to just give off that effect. You don't have to do anything crazy with this. It's quite simple. So we are just going to rotoscope out our subject as usual. When we go to our composition, we can just clean this up like we always do, just like that. And then we are going to actually go back to the layer and freeze this layer. Duplicate your layer. We're going to duplicate it twice, actually 3 times, and then we're going to delete the rotoscope on the last layer, so that now when we have a composition, we got our background, we got everything. All right, now this shot is actually very blurry, but I feel like this shot is very blurry, but I feel like it does still work. So we're just going to go to the 2nd layer right here. We're going to go to transform and very simple, guys. This one, we're gonna go to position, keyframe the position, bring him out to around here. We'll see anyway. Maybe, yeah, just right. We'll see anyway. All right, cool. So I'd say bring him out just like this and literally take him off screen. So we're just gonna bring these keyframes forward, okay? Yeah, I'd say something like this, and just make sure that he is actually off the screen, just like so. Very smooth. And we're just gonna highlight the keyframes, F9 them, and add our motion blur, because I like to see what it's looking like when I'm creating this. Something like that is what we're looking for, man. Sick. I like that. Now the next thing you can do is go to your third layer and just basically do the same thing. You're gonna go to your second layer and you're gonna make sure that you keyframe just as he's gone off the screen, which is right there. Okay, so we're gonna go to transform and we're gonna go to position. Okay, and then just as he's gone off the screen, we're gonna move and continue to around, I'd say here, as he puts his arm up, which is kind of sick, just right here. All right, and then we are going to, so once you keyframe the position, this is the important part. So once you've keyframed, this is the important part. Now just make sure that you move your subject across to the side of the screen of where the first subject came off the screen. So we know that LLE went to this side of the screen, so we want to bring him back to this side of the screen, which was around here. And then with this layer, we want to move him to around here for the keyframe, and we're just gonna bring him back around towards us. All right, and when we do this, it's gonna create an effect that he is circling around himself. Very simple, guys. And then we're gonna keyframe F9 and we're gonna see what this is looking like. So as you can see, it's just like a nice wipe across. Bang, bang. You can drag the layer up on top of your rotoscope. You just want to bring it in front and have it as number 1 as the layer. So now as you can see, it's gone in front of NLE right there. It's gone right in front of him. So when we render this through, we can kind of see how this is looking, which is kind of sick. I like that. And last but not least, I'm going to show you guys a nice rotoscope effect that you can do for energy in your music videos. So say for an example, there's a lot of bass bumps or there's a lot of energy going on in your video and you just want to create an effect that's going to make it stand out. We've basically got these freeze frames here of images, which I'm going to rotoscope and we are going to use for this effect. So right here, I'm going to make LLE flash into the image. Okay, so this is what we are gonna do. We're gonna do from the left, we're gonna do from the right, and then we're gonna probably do from the bottom, okay, going up like that. So we're gonna right click, replace with After Effects composition, and simple as we are just going to rotoscope our subject or your mask. You're just gonna clean it up to how you want to, which is around there for me. And then we are gonna add some motion blur. We're gonna go to transform and we are going to go to position, and then we are going to make sure that this is coming off the screen. So I'd say, let's just say around here on the left side, and we could perhaps make it a little bit, wait, let's just see something. If I bring him, if we make him a little bit smaller, maybe add a keyframe for rotation as well, and then bring him down so he's coming like from around this side, but more so on the left. I feel like if we keep him at 100, this would look sick. So I'd say something like this and just position him coming from the left like this, like so. And then I'd say around here, change the rotation to 24, get back to -24. So it's like a twisting sort of effect where it's rotating all the time. And then around here, we're just going to do reset. Now, if this don't look right, I will just be doing the scale and position. But let's just see. So I think that looks pretty decent. Yeah, and that's the sort of look we're looking for. Highlight all the keyframes, F9. All right, there we go. Bang. That's what we need. We just need energy. Bang. All right, very nice. So now when we go into Premiere Pro, we can see that that is the effect we have added. Now all of this glitching is just due to me downloading this video online. I don't know why it's glitching, but this happens to me sometimes when I'm doing tutorials. We're just gonna right click on our second layer, replace with After Effects composition, and we're gonna do the same thing. And then for this one, we're gonna make him come from the right hand side. Okay, that sounded crazy. Pause. Yo, we're gonna bring Enely from the right side. All right. Keyframe position, keyframe scale, and we are going to make the subject smaller. Actually, for this one, we're gonna make the subject big like this, and then slowly decrease it as he comes in. So say around here, just a simple flash in, just like that. Very simple. I'm actually gonna add some rotation on it, so we're gonna spin him from around, I'd say 200, comes back in, we're gonna spin it back, so something like that. I feel like that looks sick, and especially with the look that we got in this video, it's gonna work for sure. So have him spin in like that, and then just highlight all the keyframes, F9. Okay, and once that's done, that is a nice look. I'm liking the way that is looking. If you want to, just bring it in ever so slightly, and we can kind of see the look again. Perfect. That's what we want. All right, so now when we got that, perfect, that's the look we're looking for. Look at that, that's clean. Perfect. All right, so now the next one, the final one, we're gonna bring it from the bottom. Transform, scale, rotation, just in case. Yeah, I'd say we're gonna bring it down small, down from here, and we're gonna have it in a minus degrees, so around 250, and just show it spinning just like so. I think that'll look sick. And just F9 them, and just make sure that this is in time. There we go. That is lovely. I'm liking the way that looks. Clean, clean, clean. Okay, so then now we got 1, 2, 3. Sick. That is cold, man. I'm really liking the way this is looking, guys, for real. Okay, so now once that flashes in, we can just go to our adjustment layer right here, and we can add an adjustment layer just as it lands in. Add our small shake effect. Now I usually use this one the most. It's literally my favorite one in this entire pack, so guys, make sure you don't sleep on that one. And as you can see, bang, added a shake in. Very clean. And then we can adjust it as well if the shake is going on for too long. Bang, and then bang, just like so. 1, 2, 3. That is clean. I'm liking that. We can just copy the first adjustment layer, delete the shake off, and do flash blur effect, and trim this because again I feel like it's too long. Just like that. Oh my days, guys, this looks sick. And there we go. I feel like that is what I'm looking for. That is so smooth, man. That's so clean. I don't know about you guys, but I'm liking this, man. This is looking clean. So if we was just to render this through, just to actually see what we've got. 1, 2, 3. That looks cold, man. I'm liking the way that looks. And that is it for all of the effects today. I really do appreciate you guys looking in and watching this video. Comment below if any of these effects helped you out. If you didn't know how to do any of these, well, I'm glad that now you can sit down, watch this video, and learn through all of these effects. I use a lot of these in my music videos, and I have a whole heap of fun with them. So I feel like I've covered a lot of rotoscoping throughout this channel, and I'm going to be moving on to some more advanced stuff for you guys that I usually do for clients and other videos. And yeah, that is the masterclass for rotoscopes. So if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you know when I'm uploading. I'm posting every single day this month, so yeah, make sure you're locked in, smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Love.